slipped into Winnipeg and picked up a 1952 218 out of a Dodge Fargo. And it is pretty tight. Look at the sludge. But the compression is 125, they tell me. And look at, I mean, it hasn't been machined, it hasn't been redone or anything. This is original. It's holding the WD-40 in there. It's pretty tight. So we just got to clean up the valves to see what that's like. But it formed a knock, apparently. They were running it up till last fall. And I think I know what was going on. They probably got this old engine going, that old Dodge Fargo. Dropped some new oil in there, if you know what I mean. And of course it started to develop a knock. So then they took this out and they put a 265, and apparently it just looks absolutely beautiful. So they're quite happy with that. But I got the opportunity to get my hands on this block now. And what we're going to do is strip it. We're going to take the crank and get it ground up. New bearings. Get the block cleaned right out. Maybe we'll get them to home just to do a little touch up on the cylinders. We'll see what the rings are like. The pistons are good. We'll touch up the valves. I'll get a timing chain kit. And this one, it didn't come with an oil pan. They used it. So I'm going to rob an oil pan off this engine. It didn't come with a manifold, didn't come with a water pump, didn't come with a flywheel. All these accessories, it come just the block, pistons, and head. Head's in good shape. Nope. There's a hole in this head. What is that all about? Well, shit. I could use the head off that one, I guess. But I can't, because this has an extra hole here. I'm going to have to see what we can do about that. Directly over this, that looks too perfect of a hole. Cylinder number 6. So that is really puzzling me. I took this plug out, and that hole in the head lines up exactly with that plug. I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to have to tap into my expertise to help me out with that and what to do about it. My machinist will be able to give me some advice, but what in the world? I don't understand. Oh, the joys, and the fun of it. Good morning, internet beekeepers. So I thought I'd just sit behind my desk, scratch my pen across a few papers before I go out for my morning walk with Sandy. I'm going to be speaking at the 2022 National Ag Conference hosted by BDO. That's going to be Wednesday, February 2nd. And when do I speak? It's in the afternoon. I got to figure that out. But I'll be speaking in regards to farm business management. I get a lot of questions from beekeepers in regards to, I want to build my business. I want to transition from my day job into running my own business, and I need some perspective, I need some guidance, I need some advice to be able to make that transition. So I give them the best I can, but I don't think it's always what they think it is. Right? I think beekeepers approach me, think I'm going to give them the silver spoon of information to be able to provide them this template to become successful. There is no real template other than, basic 101 business management, which is how to manage finances, how to manage, cash flow, to manipulate and manage debt all the way along to make it perform the way you need it to. So there's all those aspects to it. But one of the core fundamental aspects of managing a business is managing yourself, because in a way we are the business. All those other, when you appreciate the true meaning to that point, everything else is a detail. I kind of think of it a lot of ways as being, you have this race and you're running in a race and you think you see that finish line. That finish line is right there. So you run as hard as you can to get to that finish line, because you will be rewarded when you get to that finish line. So you run and you absolutely sprint and you get there and you achieve tremendous success. But right when you get to that finish line, it moves down a little bit. So then you have to keep running to get to the finish line again. Okay, I just got to go a little bit further. And then it goes a little bit further and a little bit further. And then you get tired, you stumble a little bit, and before you know it, it's way off in the distance. And you can hardly see it, but you have to keep running. So you decide, okay, it's just over there now. And you sprint. And you run as hard as you can. And you're starting to see that finish line, and then it gets moved again, and you get so tired you absolutely collapse and you never make it to that finish line. As a business owner, someone who runs a business, you got to appreciate that there is no finish line. There's goals, there's places along the race, that's achievements, but it's a continual forever race. It never ends. So because of that, you have to be able to manage the running of that race accordingly. It means you have to start the race and start to run. And when you get close to a goal that you need to achieve, you run really hard. After you achieve that goal within the race, you slow down. If not, stop and take a rest. And as you stop and take that rest, you anticipate that next goal, so you start walking, running, and then you sprint again. It's just a continual management of yourself to maintain a forever race. So you don't sprint, collapse, and die. So it just allows you to continually manage and maintain yourself all the way along, so you can achieve that impossible forever race. And it's just that simple. I had a YouTube subscriber comment on one of my videos, and he didn't say it exactly like this, but I'm just going to kind of rearrange the tone to prove a point. He's noticing that I'm busy. I have this project on my old 21 combine. I pulled this engine out, and I'm spending a lot of time on this engine, and we're finding issues. And I'm going out right now to buy another block for it, spending a bit of money on that. I've bought some equipment, expensive equipment, to be able to manage the work on this engine and such. And I'm doing all this without question, right? So-called without question. And at the exact same time, I'm working on a farm project, Stubby. And what's happened is the hood on Stubby, one of my employees backed into a truck, damaged the corner of it. And I'm not willing to spend $3,500 to fix that damaged spot. I'm going to put $5 into that repair of it, carry on, and get on with life. And he said, you spending good money after bad on this old engine from a combine that's not related to your farm at all, you know, buying tools that you'll use once or twice in your life to be able to achieve all this work. But on your business, your truck, you're restricting your budget, your ability, your time allotted into working on that piece of equipment, and you're patching it when you should be shifting that money in and your time into fixing that truck rather than this other project you have going on that means absolutely nothing to the business you have going on. And he's absolutely right, you know. But the whole point of that engine project I'm working on is exactly what I'm describing to you about this race, this continued never-ending race. You need to be able to, you know, when you're focusing on business, that's very important. And a lot of the times within that, you're sprinting. But when you don't have to be sprinting, you have to be resting. And one of the ways you can rest is by, you know, not just sitting on the couch and doing nothing, but one of the ways is by doing something else, right? Something completely different, or something different that's still connected, or something, but just something that's not connected to your main drive of business management itself. And with that, the rules of business management don't apply to that. And that's very important, to be able to work on something without restriction of business, just restriction of personal ability and personal finance or whatever, just to work on something else, to take your mind off everything else, to give yourself a rest. You know, and with that rest, when you get back into the business, you're able to then start running again, and then maybe achieve that sprint that you need to. And it's an amazing thing. It's something that is a hard lesson learned. It's something that I didn't appreciate right off the start of building my business, but it's something that is a fundamental core to business management. Is just taking that rest, just taking your mind and moving it aside. Maybe it's golf, or fishing, or coaching baseball, or, you know, whatever. And it's just, when you have to work on your business, you work on your business, but when you don't have to be there with your business, you got to make sure that you pull away and do other things. And doing these other things, you know, involves family, involves personal health, and you'll find it very interesting that during these times of break, it actually makes your work more productive, right? There's no such thing as work, family, work, personal balance. Work always takes priority. Work is always weighted heavier. I have a rule that I follow, like you make these arbitrary rules. Sometimes you have to make things work, but 25% of my time is towards, you know, the management of the business. 25% of my time is towards the business management of the business. 25% of my time is towards maintenance of that business, and 25% of my time is dedicated towards something else, being personal jobs like this engine I'm fixing up, or family, or other things, right? So, you know, I just described you an imbalance of a work-life balance, but I'm not trying to achieve that. I'm looking after my business when I have to, but I'm taking a rest at the same time. Sometimes it's forced, but, you know, I always try to maintain that 25% out, and that provides enough that I need to be able to carry on this forever, everlasting race. So that's just a little bit of the stuff I'm going to be talking about at this National Ag Conference that's being hosted by BDO. Not anything directly related to beekeeping or directly related to the farm itself. Just, you know, some of that conversation, as I said in the panel, on business management. They're going to be talking a lot of technical stuff about, you know, how I analyze financial ratios and debt management and leverage and just how all these dynamics come together to be able to achieve business moving forward. But at the same time, I'll be speaking about managing business on a personal sense, just being able to achieve that forever race, right?